So, in his book, Meditations on Intention and Being, Rolf Gates says, "It is said that the mind screams and the heart whispers." So, this practice is intended to quiet the mind by giving notice over and over to the moments of pause or stillness in your body, in your mind, and in your breath. In this stillness, you're invited to listen to the whisper of your heart. So, to start this practice, please find a seat that is comfortable for you, whatever that looks like. Seated on the floor, seated in a chair, cross-legged, kneeling, it doesn't matter. And bring your hand over your heart center. And you're welcome to close your eyes if that feels good to you. It's an option, not a requirement. And with your hand resting right here at your heart, you can mentally ask it, what do you need and how can I help? What do you need and how can I help? What would you like me to know? What would you like me to know? Take a few intentional breaths right there into your hand so that you can feel the lift of your heart center, your chest, your sternum into your hand. And at the bottom of your next exhale, please find your way to lying on your back. When you come down to lie on your back, bend your knees, bring your feet, walk them out wider than your hips, and bring the knees in toward each other so that the knees rest against one another in this constructive rest pose. And you can bring your hands to your low belly. And begin to welcome your breath down into the low belly. As you breathe in, feel the rise of your belly into your hands. And as you breathe out, notice the fall of the belly, lowering back down. Inhale, the belly rises, and exhale, it falls. And now as you breathe into your low belly, begin to count your breath. Make your inhale and your exhale equal to each other for now. You can start with whatever count you like. A common number is 4. And you might find that you need to increase or decrease that number. Find what fits for you. Please continue to count your breaths, but now add in a little pause at the top of the inhale and a pause at the bottom of the exhale. Make this pause shorter than your breath cycle, maybe 1 or 2 seconds. As you breathe like this, become available to each moment. Notice how it feels to be in the stillness of the pause where you're not coming or going, doing or undoing, but there's just this brief moment of stillness. And at the bottom of your next exhale, please take your arms out on the floor wide, like airplane wings. Keep your feet planted wider than your hips, just as they are, but take your knees apart from one another. Take both knees over to the left towards the floor, as far as feels comfortable for you, and hold them there for a moment. Come back to this low belly breathing and find the pause once again at the top of the inhale and the bottom of the exhale. On your inhale, draw your knees up to center. Pause at center for a moment, and then exhale, take your knees to the right. Inhale to come back to center. Find the stillness of the pause at the top and exhale to the left. And at the bottom of your exhale, pause and without rushing, make your way back up to center on the inhale. So you're exhaling down to one side, inhaling up to center with the pace and rhythm of your very own breath. As you move like this, imagine moving through water, slow and fluid, finding the pause at the top of the inhale and at the bottom of the exhale. Notice if your pauses change their length. Maybe they become a little bit longer, maybe shorter. There's no right or wrong, just notice. Become your own mindful observer. And find your way back to center with your legs. Hug your left knee in. Take your hands over the front of your left knee, maybe your shin, perhaps down to your ankle. Depends on your body. Squeeze your left knee in. You can keep your right leg bent or lay it down long on the mat, whatever feels best for you. And whether your right leg is bent or straight, start to rock your knee out to the right. So if your leg is straight, it's kind of like you're windshield wipering with your foot. If your knee is bent, you'll take the whole knee over to the right and bring it back. And then come back to stillness and switch sides. Hug your right knee in. Find the appropriate placement for your left leg. Squeeze the right knee in. Windshield wiper the left foot or take the left knee out and in. And come back to stillness for just a moment. Bring the left knee up to meet the right, so you're hugging both knees in towards your chest. Rock a little from side to side. And then rock all the way over to one side. And help yourself up to a seated position. We're going to roll some joints. Get it? Didn't think you hear that in a recovery yoga class. So we're going to find some rotation in the joints now. With your legs straight out in front of you, you can take your arms back behind you, just kind of like you're laying out outside, sitting in the grass on a warm summer's day, and windshield wiper your feet from left to right. Good. Find your way back to center. Take your head and make some circles. Be mindful when you take the head back in space. Be mindful of the neck and treat it with respect. Be courteous. Make your neck rolls, however big or however small, feel right for your body. And then switch directions. Find your way back to stillness with your head. Press your torso up, come off of your hands, and start to roll your wrists. You can do whatever feels comfortable for your legs. Sit however you like. It doesn't matter. We're just rolling wrists right now. Go the other direction. Great. Roll the shoulders forward. And roll the shoulders back. And I know you can probably hear the snap, crackle, pop in my headphones right now. And I know I'm not alone. Come back to stillness. Good. Please find your way over to hands and knees. I have these fancy paddles because of a wrist injury, but if you don't need modifications for your wrists, you can just bring your hands, palms flat down on the floor like this. We're going to move through some variations of cat pose, cow pose, and child's pose. If you're not practicing cat pose, you can use neutral back instead. So please round your back up towards the sky like a cat. Tailbone lengthens down, the gaze comes back between the thighs. Keep this cat spine as you press your butt back towards your heels, like you're coming down for child's pose. Keep your hands planted where they are. Keep your round cat spine and lift back up to cat pose. And come through center now to cow pose. So opposite shape of the spine now, arching the back, lift the tailbone, drop the belly down, shine your heart center forward. Inhale, round up cat pose. Exhale back like child's pose. Inhale back up to cat. And exhale, find your cow pose. Inhale to cat. Find a pause at the top of the inhale. And then patiently exhale back like child's pose. Find a pause at the bottom of the exhale. Inhale back up cat. Find the pause at the top of the inhale. Exhale, cow. Continue to move like this, inhaling to cat pose. Come back to the stillness of the pause, and then patiently make your way back like child's pose. Pause at the bottom. Inhale to rise, cat pose. Pause at the top. Cow pose. Please move through this one more time with the pace and rhythm of your own breath. And you don't have to get it perfect, just do your best. Please find your way back to center. Bring your awareness to your heart center and ask it again, what do you need and how can I help? What do you want me to know? From hands and knees, please tuck your toes underneath and find your way to downward facing dog pose. When you get to downward facing dog pose, bring your breath down into the low belly again. As you inhale, encourage your breath down into a nice, relaxed, low belly. Pause at the top of the inhale. And as you exhale, use a little bit of tone to draw the low belly in. A pause at the bottom of the exhale. And repeat. If downward dog doesn't work for you, child's pose is a nice modification for this. Notice what the stillness of the pause feels like in this position. And at the bottom of your next exhale, take your feet as wide as your yoga mat, or if you don't have a yoga mat, wider than your hips, and walk your hands back to your feet. So you come into this standing forward bend with your feet wide. You can bend your knees any amount that feels comfortable for you. Straight legs are not a requirement here. If forward bending is not in your routine, right now I would recommend coming up to mountain pose. Use the strength of your feet, your legs, and your core to press your feet down into the earth and rise up to standing. You can come up like a rag doll, one vertebrae at a time. Great. And then bring your feet in towards each other. Walk up to the front of your mat, nice and slow. After your mindful walk brings you up to the front of your mat, find mountain pose. We'll move through a few half salutations here.
Sadie, I'm sorry to interrupt, but your video is off.
Thank you so much. I'm glad that you interrupted. That's important. There we go. Good. Okay, so we come back to mountain pose and we'll move through half salutations. So on your inhale, sweep your arms wide and reach your hands up to the sky. Pause at the top and then exhale down into a forward bend. Pause at the bottom of the exhale. Let your inhale bring you up, half lift. And exhale back down. Inhale to rise up, come up with a flat back as best you can. Bring your palms together and exhale your hands to your heart. Stop here for a moment and once again to the heart. What do you need? And how can I help? What do you want me to know? Inhale, hands down, wide and up. Exhale, forward bend. Continue to find the stillness of the pause in between. Inhale, half lift. And exhale down. Inhale to rise up. Palms together, exhale to the heart. When we come back, once again, what do you need? How can I help? What do you need me to know? Inhale, wide, reach up. Exhale, forward bend. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, down. Stay here, please. From your forward bend, step your left foot toward the back of the mat, right knee is bent. Lower the left knee down so you come into this low lunge position. It's nice to have blocks or something underneath the hands here, especially if the floor feels like it's hard to reach. So if you've got something, I recommend grabbing that. In fact, I'm going to put my paddles away and grab my blocks. Low lunge, your back foot, your toes can be tucked or it can be flat on the floor, whatever's more comfortable for you. Plant your left hand on the floor or on your block. And on your inhale, you'll sweep your right arm out wide and reach it up towards the sky as you turn your heart to the right for a twist. Exhale to release and come back down. And then repeat. Inhaling to open up and exhaling to lower down with the pace and rhythm of your very own breath. And continue to find that pause at the bottom and at the top. As you open up to your twist, you might consider this opening up as a listening, becoming available to hear the heart's whisper. Next time you come back down, please stay there. Lift your left knee up. Step your left foot forward. Come up to a half lift. And on an exhale, come down and step the right foot back. Lower the right knee down. Plant your right hand and same thing here, opening up to the twist on the inhale. Find the pause at the top and the pause at the bottom. See if you can make your breaths full and smooth, and your movement slow and fluid like water. The next time you come down, please stay there. Step your left leg back to meet your right. Take your knees wide and your big toes together behind you. Press back to child's pose. And if you have a block, I recommend putting a block underneath your forehead. Pause here in child's pose and just become available to what is present. And walk your hands back towards your knees. Press yourself up. And turn over to one side so you can take your legs out in front of you. Please lower on down to your back. Hug your knees in. Rock a little from side to side. Come back to center, step your right foot down on the earth and take your left ankle on top of your right thigh. Hug your legs in. You can interlace your fingers around the back of your right thigh for a little reclined pigeon or figure four stretch. As you're here in this position, be aware of your breath. And notice if there's a natural inclination for the pauses. Again, just notice, like a scientist looking to learn, not a judge looking to critique. There's no right or wrong, just awareness. Be available to what is present. At the bottom of your next exhale, please release your hands, unwind your legs, and switch sides so that the right ankle is on top of the left thigh. And then you can choose to hug your legs in, or the stretch might be enough keeping your left foot down on the floor. It's totally up to you. You know your body best. Choose what feels appropriate. And experiment here with the possibility of just being available to witness your breath rather than telling it what to do. Just for these moments, can you become available to the unaltered breath? At the bottom of your next exhale, please release your hands, unwind your legs, lay them down flat on the floor. Bring your arms down by your sides and welcome the body to become heavy with relaxation in your Shavasana. Welcome the muscles of your face to be soft, almost like this quality of melting, like wax down the sides of a candle. The muscles of the face giving up their hold, their grip. Just for these moments, become available to nothingness, nothing to do, nothing to undo, nothing to plan, nothing to fix. Please bring one hand to your low belly, just below your belly button, and one hand over your heart center. Start to deepen your breath so that you may feel the rise and fall of your hands as you breathe. And at the bottom of your next exhale, you can bend your knees, bring your feet to the earth, and roll over to one side. And when you get to your side, please rest there for a moment with a hand on your heart center. Before you come up to rise, once again, ask the heart, what do you need? How can I help? What do you want me to know? And then gently make your way up to a seated position, please. You can bring your palms together in front of your forehead. Wherever you're at, may your thoughts be peaceful. And to your lips, may your words be kind, especially towards yourself. And to your heart, may your heart's whispers become more and more obvious, louder, easier to hear. Namaste.